I know that you're aware that this link is just good for 1 hour. So I'm going to give you now the second link for the last 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give you the second link. So here is okay, so after 1 hour, the Google Meet session will be automatically shut down, will be automatically stopped. So I want you to use this link after 1 hour. So this will be our second link. Okay, have you seen now in the group chat, in the chat box, the second link? Okay, so that will, all right. Okay, so that will be the second link that you will be using. Okay, so okay, so this will be our last session, and then we're done. All you need to do after this is to check in your Google Classroom when are you going to watch the video that supposedly the discussion last meeting. Okay, so again, so we're done with the arrangement and final exam, makeup class for your class. So today's session, for today's session, we will be focusing now on the 21st century learning and curriculum innovation. Okay? So later, we will be discussing innovation in education in the Philippines. So what were the different programs, different curriculum that was offered by our system when it comes to education? And then reimagining classrooms, teachers as learners, and students as leaders. Okay, so how do we imagine now the classrooms for the future? Okay, so so that's why we have here teachers as learners. So teachers have to learn new things, especially when it comes to technology, so that they can become better when it comes to providing what is best for the millennials, what is best for the next generation of students. And students as leaders, because we always say that one day these learners will become someone in the society. And of course, we're going to touch some part of the theories and models of curriculum development. So all this will be discussed. So that's why I just choose this modality, the online instead of face to face, because anyway, I just want you to listen since we're running out of time. I just this will not be a mediated lecture, so this will be thorough discussion. All right? Are you still with me? Okay. Okay, so I always say that curriculum is as dynamic as the changes in society. You always hear me saying that. The purpose of education is to become responsive to the needs of the society by providing what is best for learners. So, how do we do this? Ensuring to unlock, of course, the potentials, the talent of every learner, considering the individual differences of the students, understanding that you cannot push or force a fish to climb trees. So you've got to know what are the potential of your students, especially if you are in the lower year. Okay, so do not be the reason why the students will not like the school. Okay, so you have, as a teacher, you have to nurture what learners can do. The question now is, How do we create a better future for the students? Of course, we have to support them. Okay? As long as we're not tolerating their bad behavior. Okay? So in that way, we're not supporting them. Okay, so again, the question, how do we create a better future for the students? As the demand of society changes, and so the curriculum has to change. It has always have to change when the need, when there's a need to change, when the need arises, we have really to update the system. Okay? In this fast changing world, the economy, the technology, social and the political aspects change. And you know that all this affects the society. So curriculum must connect to the real world for the students to be able to connect what they are learning, for the students to easily understand what they should be learning. Okay? In that way, of course, they will be equipped with the needed skills. You know that education really plays a vital role in the development of the society, making sure that the curriculum will have something to offer for the students to be trained in developing actual solutions to real problems. So it's like the school is your training ground. Yeah, the school is your training ground. The teacher will going to expose the students the realities, so that when they go out from the four corners of the classroom, they know what to do, they can apply. So that's why I always say that it is important to update the curriculum. What will happen if the students will be stuck to that particular information that is already isolated? Okay, obsolete, that is already obsolete. Okay, so how are they going to apply it in the real world if the information is already obsolete? Okay, so what's the purpose of education? Students today, of course, are different from the group of students before. So even the accessibility of technology, it becomes easier for us to have this kind of session, for learning to happen. Okay? So of course, even the technology before is different from the technology that we have today. Okay, so there should really be an adjustment. So nowadays, learning does not just, that learning does not just happen in the four corners of the learning stations. Learning can happen anytime, anywhere, and in any way. I mentioned this last during our previous discussions, that before we don't realize that that particular statement, but during the pandemic, we realized that yes, through technology, it can really make this particular statement happen. Learning anytime, anywhere, in any way. Okay? So what's the challenge now? The access. Okay? The quality, the relevance, the identity. Okay, so these are the challenges. Like, for example, during the pandemic, is education accessible to everyone? Not everyone has internet access. Okay, so that's why maybe some of you are now realizing the so-called the class divide. Okay? Class divide. Why? Because to the fortunate ones, they can easily access education because they are equipped with the technology. While those who are unfortunate, who are not blessed to have this kind of facilities, so they are having difficulty. Okay, so facilities, when we speak of access, facilities needed to be upgraded so that everyone can access education. And of course, the access to free education. Okay, how about the quality? So when it comes to quality, like for example, um the one that I just announced, that finally the UEP is already ISO certified, meaning to say that there's this quality, okay, that we have this quality, that the quality is evident in our university because it's ISO class. ISO stands for International Standard Organization. So it's there's really this high standard that they want to see to the school when it comes to the implementation of the curriculum, the facilities, the organization of everything, to provide learning, to provide education to the students. So we were certified. So meaning to say, we are offering quality education. It's just that, of course, there's a need for maintenance. Okay? There's a need for upgrading. Okay? So the curriculum and the rules should be monitored if everything is still in place. If everything is being implemented, not just because today is today is accreditation day, not just because today is inventory day or observation day. Okay, so actually in the ISO, part of what they're checking is what you have learned in your industrial arts part 1, the 5S. Okay, so if you can still remember the 5S, the Siri, the Seaton, the Sisu, the Siketsu, the Shitsuke, right? If you can still remember all those. The last part, which is the Shitsuke, that's the self discipline, that everything should already be in your system. Okay? That there's no need for you to be told, like everything is already in part of your system, that every time I'm going to every before the start of the semester, the teacher should have the syllabus, um, should be prepared. The learning materials are there. So everything is for quality education, yes. Okay. So what I'm putting emphasis there is the standard, the international standard. Okay. How about the relevance? Because like what I've said, the challenge there are this four: the access, the quality, the relevance, the identity. So what is this relevance? Students should be acquiring the right education. Are the learners learning what is needed to be learned? Is everything aligned? This is the objective. We already mentioned this class, right? The alignment of everything. This is your plan. So, how are you going to work on that plan? What will be your activities? What will be the activities that you are going to provide? And of course, the last part is, how will you know that you were able to become successful in achieving your objectives? Okay? So, relevance. How about, it's not just the alignment of what you are implementing. Okay, the relevance also is um, is the content related? Is it geared to, is it anchored to with the VGMO? Okay, so since this is the vision of the university, do you follow with that VGMO? Because if not, then it's like you're not part of the system. Okay, relevance. And then another, how do you implement the things that you are sharing with your students? Okay, are this significant in the society? If the answer is yes, then you're good to go. Okay, how about the identity? Okay, the identity. Who are we? Or what is the culture that we have in UEP? That's the identity. We're talking of the organizational culture. Okay, that here in UEP, the students are like this. Okay, producing winners. Okay, so still the curriculum should also have to include the identity of who we are. Okay, who we are. Like for example, in general, um, though we've always been talking of the globalization, but still we should not forget who we are, our identity. That okay, there some university would say, they are from, I can say that they are from Philippines, because there is this identity in our curriculum that they really can tell that these are graduates from the Philippines. There is this identity. Okay? So who we are when we do not have that identity, right? So that's why these are the challenges when it comes to the curriculum, the access, the quality, the relevance, and then the identity. Now, the next question to be asked is, how will the fourth industrial revolution impact on work and organizations? Okay, how will the fourth industrial revolution impact on work and organizations? What are the skills that we have to include in the curriculum for our students to become successful when they are already in the outside world? Okay, so there are five trends shaping the future of work. Okay, so five? What are these five trends that will shape the future of work? First, the new behavior. Okay, what is this new behavior? Of course, we have different ways how to handle situations. That also changes how it is being encountered. Again, change is inevitable, but we need to be flexible to be able to survive, and that should be the behavior that the students should be having. Okay, being flexible. Okay, technology, of course, rapid change when it comes to technology, that if we're not going to update our know-how, our skills when it comes to technology, surely what will happen? Surely we will be left behind. So we should always update our skills, especially when it comes to the latest trend, how something will make things easier and especially how we can get the attention of the students technology. So that's why you have your TTL in the curriculum. Okay, TTL. You have your TTL1, you have your TTL2. Okay, so I'm talking of the five trends in shaping the future of work. I've mentioned already the new behaviors, because again, like what I've said, change is inevitable. I've mentioned technology, and then the millennial workforce. We have to learn how to be with millennials, how they deal with every encounters. Okay, so we should be living to what we have right now and trying to improve it for us to be able to go with the flow. Okay, if we're going to isolate ourselves, then we cannot move forward. We cannot relate to what's happening right now. And if that happens, what will happen? We will not benefit from isolating ourselves because, like what I've said, change is inevitable. We really have to move forward. Okay? Mobility. That's another. That's the fourth. Okay? That's the fourth trend in shaping the future of work. Okay, I already mentioned being flexible. Okay? Not because you were born before doesn't mean that you cannot do what millennials can do now. So that's why I mentioned a while ago, teachers as learners. Okay? In connection to curriculum development, it should integrate what is observed in the what is being observed in the present should be integrated in the curriculum. And of course, we have to be also to become futuristics. To become futuristic, I mean. Okay, so thinking that in the future we might have this kind of work, and we have to prepare students to have the necessary skills, okay, for that particular work that is not yet present today, but you are thinking, okay, based on researches, based on the gathered facts and information, that in the future there will be this kind of work. Okay, and the fifth one, another, by the way, in connection to what I just mentioned a while ago, is that will really happen, class. Imagine some of the jobs that we have right now. We haven't Some of the jobs that we have right now doesn't exist before, like for example the IT. We do not have that IT before. Let's say 50 years before, we do not have. Okay, if we're going to look back 50 years from now, we do not have that job. So this is what I'm telling you, being futuristic, based on facts, data, based on researches, that there might be in the future that kind of job, and what the system of education will be doing now to prepare students um, to, to land in that particular job. Okay? Then we have the globalization. Curriculum should prepare students to be able not necessarily to compete with others, but at least be able to work with other people outside the country. Oh, how can you say that they can work with people outside the country? Because of course they're equipped with the necessary skills. Okay, the The curriculum was able to mold the students to have to acquire those skills needed in those kinds of um, country that needs that skill. Like globalization, it's like checking what are the skills, what are these competencies. Okay, so in the 21st century education, I think I already mentioned this last time. I mean, not necessarily in this course, but perhaps in some of other courses that I handled. Okay, in the 21st century education, the illiterate are not those who cannot read and write anymore. Gone were the days that the illiterate are those who cannot read and write, because everyone, almost all, can read and write already. So that's why I'm telling you that in the 21st century education, the illiterate are not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay? Again, for the 21st education, the illiterate are not those who cannot read and write. Because like what I've said, almost everyone can read and write. Okay, in this generation. But who are considered as illiterate in your generation? Those who cannot learn, those who cannot unlearn, those who cannot relearn. Okay? So to be able to survive the new normal of the volatile and changing world, we cannot think the same. Okay? We cannot think the same. Like what I've said, change is inevitable. Okay? And so, change is really, well, it's the only thing that is constant. You know that. So to be able to survive the new normal, we cannot think the same, because if we do, we will really be left behind. Or the worst, nothing will be left to us. Okay? It is important to have a mindset that change may happen anytime. And educators should be futuristic in innovating the curriculum. Okay, we have to innovate the curriculum. We have to update the curriculum. I always mention being flexible. So being prepared to become flexible in every circumstance and embracing the change is indeed significant, class. So just like letting go of the old curriculum, I already told the class that before, we have separate curriculum. The we do not have yet that BT led. Okay, the curriculum that we have right now, the home economics, the agri fishery arts, and then the industrial arts became as one under the BT led, but before they are separated. Okay, but because there's a need now to update the curriculum, so we just have to accept the fact that we have to change. Okay? Letting go of the old curriculum because it is also obsolete and does not respond to the demands of the society. Okay, so looking back to the old curriculum compared to the curriculum that we have today, Imagine what we would lose if we just stayed with the old curriculum. Although we are comfortable already with the old curriculum, but again, since it's already obsolete, we have to change. So what we are enjoying right now is the product of the curriculum innovation. Okay? I think your batch is the second, no, not second, you're just in your third year. So you are the third batch of the new curriculum. You are the third batch of the new curriculum. Because the first batch was last 2018 and they graduated already this year, 2021. Okay, and then the second batch, the fourth year, the third batch of the new curriculum is your class, the third year. Okay, so like what I've said, what we are enjoying right now is the product of the curriculum innovation. So this only means that the curriculum reflects what we have now in society. So we also have to realize that the curriculum, that it should respond to the needs of the society. So like for example, we have now the BT led today because of the sudden change of the curriculum in depth ed, like having this K to 12. Okay, so for everything not to be redundant, so that's why some of the general education courses were changed. Okay, so doing this is an opportunity to develop curriculum for students to acquire new skills and will absolutely prepare us for what may rise in the future. So innovating the curriculum would only mean that there are some things that are needed to be unlearned. Okay? So we have to accept that. Okay, like what I've said, the in the 21st century generation, the illiterate are not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay? So, in innovation, in curriculum innovation, there are some things that are needed to be unlearned. Sometimes, of course, it is better to put an end to what is holding us back to be able to step forward, right? And then to relearn is not being complacent. It is to boast any aspect of our life that creates value for us. Okay? Of course, everyone is willing to learn. Am I correct? Everyone is willing to learn, to unlearn,
Yes.
and relearn. Because why everyone is willing to do that? Because we don't want to be stuck. Because we want progress. That's why you are here. You're learning with me. Because you want to learn something, and through that learning, it will improve you. Okay? So we're talking the 21st century education. The lifelong learning is the focus. Lifelong learning. Okay, especially in your course, it's more of honing your skills. Okay, so this is why curricula have to innovated, making sure that students will develop the skills that have not yet invented. So this is what I'm telling you a while ago. Developing skills, being prepared, being futuristic, okay, developing some skills that have not yet invented, but you are just being futuristic, that one day this will be in demand, that one day this will surely contribute to the society, right? So in the 21st century education, the forces are being emphasized. Okay, so what are these forces that are being emphasized? Communication, collaboration, creative and critical thinking. We work as one. Okay? We work as one. Collaboration. Two minds are better than one, right? Communication. We cannot collaborate, of course, without communicating with others. Okay? Being creative. How can we invent? How can we redesign? How can we improve? How can we develop if we do not have this creative and critical way of thinking? Okay, so this is make to make sure that learners are learning significant skills. Why significant skills? Because these skills will help students to survive, not just in the world of work, but also in living the real world. Okay? Living the real world. This is what's really happening. So this is what we have to do. This is what we have to offer. This is what we have to implement. Okay, for a while, guys. Maririnig dito yung hangin. Haluan lang. Ilayo-layo mo na lang kasi maririnig hindi ako masyadong clear na. Hindi na ako magiging clear. Okay. Going back. Okay, so another is that the curriculum is upgraded to make sure that the end goal of education will be achieved. How can we achieve if we are not going to update since we experience rapid changes, not just when it comes to technology, but also what's happening around. Okay? So the achieved curriculum can only be done when the learning experience is real, meaningful, and interesting to students. Okay. Um there's already this warning class that I only have 10 minutes. So you know already what's the second link, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so this is how we bring out the potential of the learners. So in curriculum development, that includes checking three aspects. And you know what are these aspects, right? You know what are these aspects? How we plan it, how is the implementation, and what is the result of the evaluation. Okay? So reflecting the result of the assessment is necessary for everyone to be aware of how they implement the curriculum. So through the different feedback, we can achieve positive changes that will contribute to the development of the curriculum. And of course, all of the feedbacks should be accepted positively. Okay? So this curriculum is very significant to be always checked. Okay, you know that curriculum, this is the roadmap of the teachers. This is the guide. Okay, this is how to provide quality education, checking, monitoring the curriculum. Of course, when we say quality education is what is being built in our society to become a better place to live in. And again, this is the purpose of education. Okay, to provide what is good in the community. Of course, how again producing graduates who are fully equipped with skills that are needed to face the real world. Okay? So this curriculum innovation is an opportunity to integrate what we think is significant, what we think is needed to become part of the learning process. And most importantly, what is best for the learners, of course. Okay? So if this is how we think, this will lead us for our curriculum to have this integrity. And if the curriculum have this integrity, that only means that every stakeholder, or I mean everyone that has something to do with the education, are all committed towards bringing out the potential of the students, which eventually will lead to have a society that is progressive, that is safe to live in, or let's just say, to become a better place to live in. Okay? So through curriculum innovation, the 21st century skills will be acquired and students will be equipped with all of the 21st literacies. And in your fourth year, you will have a fourth year or second semester next. I think next semester, you will have this building and enhancing course. Okay, to boast more your knowledge when it comes to the 21st century skills, building and enhancing literacies across the curriculum. Okay, so surely students can survive with the different challenges in today and even in the future, because as early as now, students are being prepared because teachers are being futuristic. So all this are towards to nourishing the potential of every learner. So this will contribute, of course, to the total transformation of the students, or let's just say as individuals in the society. So going back to what was mentioned a while ago, 21st century literacies are more than just simply reading and writing. So it extends further to preparing students with knowledge and skills to be well-rounded citizens. So well-rounded citizens, like I mentioned a while ago, the total transformation of the students. This 21st century demands a literate person acquires a wide range of abilities, competencies, and various literacies to be able to thrive in today's world as students, workers, and citizens. So, as educators, the important thing now is to recognize that change is unavoidable. We're talking of innovation, changing. No matter how comfortable we are already, like for example, as educators, for the educators, we we've been handling already for how many years the different courses in the old curriculum, and then suddenly, oh my goodness, we have to to handle new courses. But for the sake of our students to be well-rounded individuals, we have to adjust. We have to become flexible. Okay, so that's why I mentioned as educators, the important thing is to recognize that really change is unavoidable. And that it's going to occur whether you are prepared or not. Question: during the time of the curriculum enhancement, are we prepared? No, we're not prepared. But because we have to, but because the students need to be equipped with the current trends, and so we just have to deal with it, do our best. Okay, so you see, class, we started the new curriculum 2018. And before, the approval of the new curriculum, there were a lot of revisions that we made. That's because of your hardworking professors. Okay? It's not easy to revise the curriculum, class. It's not that easy. Okay, so I think we'll now going to transfer to the next link, class. I'll see you doon sa next link, okay? This is now about to end. Okay.